What's good, everybody, and welcome back to Hyperfocus. Today we are doing the first brand review of 2023 with a brand that Jan and I actually grew up with, so it has been around for quite some time, and that is 7-Up. In this video, we are going to break down the brand. First, we will be looking at the history of the brand. We'll be looking at the landscape and also figuring out if it's any good, in our humble opinion. At the end, we'll be giving some scores, so make sure to stick around for that and see what the results are. But first and foremost, we need to jump straight in to find out a little bit about the history of this brand. So, without further ado, I will hand you over to my esteemed colleague, Mr. Jan Stein, who will deliver the history and the knowledge of 7-Up.
Thanks a lot, Paul. Yeah, 7-Up. It is quite simple, an American brand of lemon lime flavored, non-caffeined soft drink.
Caffeinated, my friend.
Caffeinated.
We're off to a good start.
Caffeinated soft drink. Yeah, it's a soft drink. I think most of the people might know 7-Up, also the big competitor Sprite. We talked about Sprite a few months ago.
Yeah, we did a brand review with Anatoly, so I'll leave the link above. If you've not seen that, check that out as well. And there is some similarities, actually.
Yeah. True. It is internationally distributed by PepsiCo, and it was created by a guy called Charles Leiper-Grigg back in 1920. 1920.
Wow. Okay. Wow, it's been around
100 years.
Time. Yeah,
100 years ago. And the name 7-Up, there are different ideas about how this name came from, but one is that the name comes from the 7 main ingredients in the drink. And here we have a beautiful picture of the bottle. I'm not sure if it's one of the first, but it looks quite old to me. Also quite medical, I think, right?
What, the bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a growler. You know a growler? So you get your beer in?
No.
That bottle's called a growler. You take this to to the brewery, and they fill your beer up with these bottles.
Maybe
so
they
actually
did
quite trendy.
Maybe they did it with 7-Up as well, so you could fill up your old 7-Up bottle. Okay, you already mentioned that we also have some history with 7-Up. So because I come from East Germany, and so the first 8 years of my life there were actually no brand at all. I grew up with no brands at all, and then there came like all the brands at one time. And I really liked 7-Up because of the one character they used in the advertising called. I said Fido Dido, but Paul told me it's Fido Dido.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where you come from. I'm sure different places in the world, they have different names. But I'm just familiar in the English-speaking world that he is known as a Fido Dido.
Fido Dido, yeah. I mean, I was around 10 or something, so I just thought it's super cool dude with a skateboard, and I was just getting into skateboarding. So I had a t-shirt.
Cool hair as well.
I had a t-shirt.
I loved his hair. The undercut was something to be admired.
Yeah. So for those of you who never heard about Fido Dido, here's a commercial from back in the days.
Yeah, and I think as everything 90s, this actually looks quite up to date. It actually looks quite modern in a funny kind of way.
Yeah, still cool. And then after Fido Dido, they introduced a new character, which I always was quite into because there was a video game, and that was Cool Spot.
I don't know.
You remember Cool Spot?
No.
Okay, I show you a quick video from the video game.
Okay.
So it's a red spot. It's a jump and run game, and Yeah, just that was also like a video game, which was quite popular. It was not just like some promotional item. It was quite popular jump and run game back in
It
the
looks
days.
to me like one of the M&M characters.
Yeah, I don't know who was first.
I don't. I think M&M.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
they still use this character.
Okay,
I think.
fact check
Fact check.
here.
No. Okay, so what happened? 7-Up, they have undertaken a complete refresh since. So it's the last they changed the brand was 7 years ago. So they did a new international brand positioning and also a new visual identity, and it was designed by the PepsiCo design and innovation team. So here's a quote from the SVP and Chief Design Officer of PepsiCo, from Mauro Porcini. Our new visual identity for 7-Up was inspired first and foremost by the brand's creation of moments of upliftment throughout its history. The PepsiCo design and innovation team created a bright and confident visual identity system that will echo across cultures, regions, and languages.
Wow. Okay. Magnificent.
A bit generic,
Yes.
I think. But yeah.
I'm afraid like we often get these very generic mission statements or value propositions
yeah.
from when it's not from an agency, but it's done in-house.
Yeah.
Can I say that? 'Cause, I mean, even like when we looked at was it Kia and some of these other brands early on in our videos, they've not really necessarily been super inspiring, quite generic. It's normally when it comes from the agencies, they're a bit more thought through and a bit more strategy done into them.
Yeah, but also these kind of companies that they do not really position themselves in a niche. Yeah, they're like very broad positioned. They are for everyone.
For everybody, yeah.
And
yeah,
everyone,
true.
they want to attract everyone, so they are kind of generic. It's more about availability, I think. You know, they need to be just everywhere to be successful, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so here, that's the old logo. So they had two different logos. So they had an international version, which you see on the left side, and an American version you can see here on the right side. So, I mean, you see that from time to time, that these big companies have different logos in different countries. I have no idea why. One is just a bit more flat and the other one is a bit more glossy, the American version. Maybe they like a bit more gloss and glitz and bling in their brands. Okay, and that's
quite an assumption.
Hey, they do. They
Do
like
they?
a bit more bling, right?
I no comment. If you have an opinion and there's any Americans watching, please drop an opinion in the comments below. I mean, I've been to America. Yeah, it does seem to be bigger, bolder, and brasher than Europe. I'm not 100% sure why. Everything seems to be a lot sweeter. Their drinks are sweeter, but it's the same in Asia as well. Yeah, so maybe that could be a reason. I don't know.
Okay, so here we see the new can next to the old can. We can see they have like a new 3D-ish kind of approach on the 7. So it's definitely deeper and not as flat. I mean, the graphic itself are flat, but with this 3D approach, they give a bit more depth into
And there's
the
a bit
design.
more use of the lime as well, color in there as well. I think the font's still the same, right? They just removed the shadow.
Yeah, true.
Or the emboss.
Yeah, it's the same. Correct. And also like the little lemons they have on the can, they are now even more simplified. So it's really just a half circle and some circles around, and which is cool. I mean, my first impression is, yeah, that looks more modern than what I can see here on the left side. All right, do we want to see some eye candy? Because there's a great introduction video for the branding. Yes. That was the video.
Who's that video for?
For all the design blogs and guys on YouTube who do brand reviews, probably.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, I don't see that necessarily translating the kind of the motion translated anywhere else. So, have you seen anything on the website, for instance?
No, it's not. I was on the website. I'm not sure if it was a German one or international, but there was still the old design. I think they rolled it out in March or something.
We have to see if
I've read something. Yeah.
If brands in motion really show up with this one. If it looks like that, then that could be pretty cool. But as you say, I think it's really a bit of eye candy, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it looked okay. It looked quite well executed. Music was annoying.
Yeah.
You won't be able to hear the actual music. It will be different music, so I'll try and find some equally annoying music to play alongside that video for copyright purposes.
Okay, and then we have here just some press release material we can look at. So again, the can,
it's
the main 7-Up
clean.
can plus the sugar-free, zero sugar version, which looks similar, just the colors are used in a different way. So they have, since they use this 3D effect, they have this new angle, this new line, which they use for like very dynamic shapes throughout here. Their visual, their key visual. And
This is the whole product range, right? Yeah. If you've seen, or if you get chance to watch, or if you have seen the review from Sprite, this looks very familiar.
Yeah, it's a very popular way of displaying your products. So I think when I look at this, it looks very everywhere the same. There's no different approach on how to display the logo and how they use their logo and the whole packaging design. But I think when I looked at the video, there were a few different versions of how they play with the different elements, with the angle and typography and colors.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
This one?
Yeah. It looks like a really trendy washing up liquid. And this might give you some clues into my score at the end.
You have like a particular brand in mind where you think it looks quite similar? Okay.
I'm not that. It just looks like washing up liquid.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that's thirst quenching. You know, like a lot of advertising use these bubbles, you know, to make it look
fresh,
cold and wet and fresh.
Yeah,
it's a common thing. You have it on beer as well. None of that's being used on here. I'm not sure why.
Here a little bit.
Yeah, it's just all very flat. Okay. But it's, you know, even though you see it used over and over again, it's synonymous with drinks and kind of does make you feel a bit thirsty. When you see ice and liquid and stuff. This is on a pure design aesthetic, and I think you lose that thirst quenching like draw to what a drink should have, to be honest, and you lose the 7. I just see up and washing up liquid. Maybe that's where the washing up comes from. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. You see more the up than the 7. Okay, here we have a campaign. I like it when the red becomes a bit more prominent, actually. And again, when they play a bit more with typography and just be a bit more playful with all the elements they're using. So they have here, when they use typography, also this 3D shadow, which goes over the displays, which I like. And that's all the press material we have so far. Again, website is not online yet with the new branding, so let's wait. I'm also sure it's not in the shops yet. So we are pretty early, like always. But yeah, I think enough to give our first opinion about the brand.
Okay, shall I go first?
Yes, please.
Okay, I mean, this video is actually by popular demand, so a couple of people on within our network and also on Instagram asked for us to have a look at this, and I think it's definitely a worthy brand to be reviewed because it is so iconic and a lot of people have grown up with it. And so it's very interesting to have a look. There's not much, so we can only judge on what's there. So it's pretty fresh, pretty new. As you have heard, as we've been going through this, I think it falls short a little bit of making me feel thirsty, which is actually probably one of the main things that a drink should do. Make me want to go out and quench myself with the product. The aesthetic, yeah, it's okay, but it does lend my thinking or my feel towards cleaning products, which is probably not the best association. The 7, graphically, it's okay. I don't know if we really need to celebrate up. What's that? I don't know. It's 7 up, not up. So I think it's a good try, and for that, I'd probably give it a 6. But I can't really go much higher. We just have to see, and that's probably because of the motion. That was pretty cool. We have to see how it rolls out in the future.
What I like is the more graphic design approach they have right now. So it's on the can. I think it looks quite cool with the 7 and the up. I don't think it's too modern actually. It's also not timeless. It feels a bit outdated actually, the way they designed the can. But still, it's a bit like could also be like a cool poster from a few years ago. I like the video. So when it begins to be in motion and move around and a bit more playful, that's cool. And yeah, just thinking about what if I have the choice in the supermarket to grab like a Sprite or a 7-Up can. I think I might grab the 7-Up can instead of the Sprite can.
Okay, interesting.
But maybe it needs a bit more water sprinkle on them to look to make me thirsty. Okay, but I would still give it. What do I give it? I'm a bit torn at the moment. All right, you know what? I give it a 7.
Okay, all right. Just so I'm a little bit lower than you.
I actually would give it a 6. No, because it's 7-Up.
Boo.
Yeah,
okay, a 7. You going with a 7? Solid 7?
Yes, I give it a 7.
All right, cool. All right, thank you. Yeah, that just about.
The imagery is horrible on this posters here, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like she is drinking that 7-Up.
I give it a 6. I can't give it a 7. Also, it's called 7-Up. I give it a 6.
Okay, so we're going to revert back.
Yeah,
okay.
I revert back. It's a 6. Sorry.
Yeah, 7 is quite. It's a B minus. That's 7 is all right. 6 is questionable.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I feel
then
more comfortable with.
All right then. 2 6s today. Yeah, that just about wraps it up for this episode. As always, thank you very much for joining in or tuning in, joining in. Maybe you did join in. Maybe you shared some comments. Please do. Let us know what you think about this brand. But as always, it has been great to have you here. Thanks for listening to us waffle on for so long today. And I hope you have found something quite insightful. As always, if you have, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to continue to make content like this. And if you have any friends who love branding, then please share this with your community. We would highly appreciate that. And as always, we will see you next time for more design, branding related topics in the next video. So until then, peace.
See you all.
Not bye-bye?
No, bye-bye. See ya.
See ya. See ya.